Protecting forestry conservation areas and development of protected areas or sites on the island is continuing with a relook at establishing a legislation for the island. Food and Agriculture Organization's Chief Advisor Rudolf Hahn said it is important to recognize and develop ways to protect these areas.
I think it's quite important. And you have traditional areas. That is not a new idea here in Niue to protect certain areas. You have these traditional taboo areas. Now it's a bit more like putting these taboo areas more in a government regulation, so to regulate it more according to modern legislation. And then also you should look at this like taboo areas in the traditional sense is really where you're not allowed to do any utilization. And we are talking about protected areas, even going a bit further, where will be a zoning and where there will be like utilization in terms of ecotourism possible, or there will be even possibility of utilizing some natural resources from this protected area. It's basically composed of several components, like we're looking at legislation policies governing natural resource management and conservation. We're looking at protected areas or the traditional taboo areas. We're also looking in ways of improving the livelihood of people living close to protected areas, the landowners. And we're also looking in ways of improving farming systems, sustainable land management and forest management outside the protected areas.
He said one of the ways of development is community-based and will help with the monitoring element of the program as well.
So far possible, as I would say, the monitoring should in particular be carried out by the landowners, by the communities living close to the resources. And I think that way they also get the power to manage them as well, together with the government and special agencies. And that way you can monitor basically how these areas are developing in the future, whether conservation has a good impact on the areas or whether there are other destructive elements taking place.
Mr. Hahn said once the workshop complete this week, the project will begin. Niue Honey Company is expanding and Niue landowners could benefit from the new agreement, according to Niue Honey owner Andrew Corey. However, more than 1 year into the new agreement, it still has not been finalized nor signed, and landowners have yet to be paid. Whilst landowners consider the new proposed agreement, Mr. Corey said the landowners will be the first cabs off the rank to be paid once the honey sent through the last boat is sold. According to Mr. Corey, the agreement was given to a representative from the landowners but was subsequently lost. Though some of the landowners have not been paid during the last discussions in March last year, Mr. Corey said they can still be paid. Niue Honey is also in the middle of signing an agreement with World Vision, and the aid agency were apparently on the island 5 weeks ago to discuss with government the honey venture. The new agreement set to increase land lease from $30 a year to $100 a year, with each honey hive increasing from $1 plus to $5 if it produces honey. Employment opportunities within the Niue Public Service advertised overseas are open to Niueans and non-Niueans, according to the Niue Public Service Commission. Chairperson of Commission, Gina Tukiwa, says that the employment policy is that vacancies and positions advertised outside of Niue are circulated widely, but admitted the government website needs to be updated. This is an area that has been addressed. Commissioner Tukiwa says when expatriates are recruited to the workforce, the NPSC become their sponsor only for the duration of their contract. However, they are not eligible for permanent residency consideration while on contract, and if they are interested in attaining PR, they will have to return to their country of origin and find someone else to sponsor them before returning to Niue. In terms of packages offered for relocation or resettlement, costs are factored in. If they bring their family, they are entitled to free health care, children to a free education, including accommodation. The finer details can be negotiated prior to signing a contract and accepting employment. According to NPSC, within the contracts, the spouses are not eligible to work in the public service, but they may work in the private sector if they have a working permit. Mrs. Tukiwa says that at times when there is interest from Niueans abroad, the packages and salary may not be appealing to them. Government is working on identifying what factors influence people to take up employment on the island and ways to try and encourage more Niueans abroad to return home and work. A couple of accidents over the weekend is under investigation by Niue Police. According to Acting Chief of Police Brent Ioane, one accident happened at Peel Hill and the police is investigating. However, he said road conditions might have been the cause of the accident. Another incident of the same nature occurred in Hakupu and according to Brent is still under investigation. There were no reported injuries with both accidents. Even though a couple of accidents happened, it was a quiet weekend on the island. Junior students of Niue High School got to put their speech delivery skills to the test last week in what was the Niue High School English speech competition for years 7 to 9. For some students, overcoming the fear of public speaking was an achievement in itself. The topics varied from drink driving, racism, teenagers, friendship, lollies, bullying, wonders of music, anger, loyalty, courage, all they thought provoking. Some students used props, music, and interacting with the crowd throughout. Others used cue cards, while some managed to impress the judge by learning it all off by heart. Notably, the level of confidence and creativity of students has improved over the years. But in the end, based on what was presented, the judges had a hard task to place and rank students based on their speech content and presentation. Year 7 had 10 competitors, with Mushina Jackson in third with netball. Second placing went to Latoya Tukuitonga with her title Loyalty, and in first place Alofa Paike with her speech on courage. Year 8 there were 13 competitors, but in third equal was Motoria Tano, A Day in the Life of a 13-year-old, and Moses Motama with bullying. Second placing went to Saraya Mangaoa, encouraging her peers by being yourself. And Shiloh Basisi took top place with a speech about the humble honeybee. Year 9 also had more than 10 speakers, but it was Beatrice Tasmania who took third place with her speech about racism. In second placing, Flornie Malinau talking about anger. And in first place went to Timora Tongatule with her rather animated speech about teenagers. Based on the speeches this year, the bar and standards have been set quite high. To end our news bulletin for tonight, with a tourism boost on the island, Niue Tourism continues to work on developing an accreditation system for the industry as a means of managing visitor expectations and quality assurance. Currently, ratings on properties are based on property standards done in consultation with Niue Tourism as well as overseas suppliers. Niue Tourism says that Niue does not have an accreditation system in place, but they have been working in consultation with those within the industry to develop a system that is suited to Niue's needs. A draft has been developed based on a number of guiding documents that has now been circulated for comment from operators. However, it is likely that once the standard has been set, an independent person will be responsible for inspections and giving ratings to ensure that the process is neutral. Otherwise, there would be a conflict of interest if it was done internally. Work done now is to develop an accreditation system that focuses on the type of accommodation available, type of visitors they appeal to, what services and amenities are available, as well as cleanliness of properties internally and externally. As for other niche market areas like weddings and special activities, they are arranged through service providers and local contacts on the island. Niue Tourism are not directly involved in planning these types of events, but are looking at ways that could perhaps look at meeting a certain standard in future. The expectation is that the accreditation system will be finalized in time for the next peak tourist season next year. That's our news bulletin for tonight. Good evening.